In the Lifestyle Chat episode of Lifestyle with Fiifi, our guest is Kweku Aact. Born in the UK to Ghanaian parent and raised by loving British white couples, Kweku grew up in rural English setting, and for 7 years of his life, he was the only black person in his community.
On that first day, I went into the playground, and it seemed like every child in the school ran to touch my hair. And so you can imagine being this small little black child and all these white kids around rushing to touch my hair. It was just overwhelming.
Growing up, Kweku learned a lot about difference, exclusion, and prejudice. Due to some circumstances, Kweku lost contact with his Ghanaian parents, who had relocated back in Ghana.
Now, there is a controversy because Mum Ghana will say that Mum Pat was avoiding her, right? And Mum Pat will say, oh, the Mummy Ghana didn't get in touch, right? So there's, both have their own perspective.
Kweku became a master shapeshifter, everybody friend and a people pleaser. At a point, Kweku had to give up a lot to experience inclusion, acceptance, and belonging.
Were you more of a people pleaser at that time?
Well, yeah, I mean, anything really to create relationship. I really was fearful of the idea of being abandoned again.
At age 19, a miracle happened.
And a letter comes through the door. I open it up, and it is a letter from my mum. But it's from the Salvation Army saying my mum is searching for me.
Kweku's life experience led him to establish Awoo collective, which focus on arts, leadership and learning, and holistic wellness, with 120 members across 4 continents based in Accra, Ghana, West Africa.
The community is well tried and tested, from the young people that will support us, in going out and getting things in, doing rounds, to our high-level consultants.
Awoo is home.
How has this journey of reconnecting people back home in Africa impacted your life as an individual?
That experience of connection and love was really an outpouring I didn't expect.
So guys, I do have my good friend Kweku Aact in the building. How's London treating you?
Fiifi, it's been cool. It's been cool, apart from the weather, of course. But the last few days,
yeah,
we've had summer.
Let's hope the summer is going to continue so that you can enjoy some summer before you go back to Ghana. I mean, guys, I've known Kweku for the past 7 years. And the story of us meeting and the story of us meeting now is kind of a coincidence, because the period that I was coming to London was the period that you were establishing yourself in Ghana. And we kind of met on a project. And during that project, my mind was like, oh gosh, it's just left with 2 months for me to come to London, and this guy is worrying me about projects in Ghana. Of which I was like, and I mean, we kept in touch when I was here, and
I wasn't even clear you were actually going. That's what killed it.
No, I did not tell you that I was going. All the so is I'm on a flight, I'm in London, and I'm living life. And I was also watching you from afar, and I kind of admired the way that you moved into Ghana, and you were able to just fit in perfectly, doing a lot of projects. Last year I was in Ghana, and I met with you, and now it was like Kweku was the one telling me, oh, director of this, director. I was like, I'm lost in my own country. Which is marvelous. And before we go on to our conversation, I do have a game. Yeah, I do have a game. This is a new game that I created to just ease us into the conversation. Is, guys, it's going to be really exciting, but something to spice up the whole show. So are you ready for the game?
Let's do it.
Oh, it's called Ditch It or Keep It. Okay.
I'm scared already.
Okay, mentoring a Gen Z 1997 to 2012 group of guys who were born around that age, and mentoring a millennial 1981 to 1996. Which will you prefer? I know you're a mentor.
Wow, prefer.
Yeah.
Ooh, they have really different, there are different experiences. I'm mentoring both at the moment. Prefer.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, no, you have to. It's
I have to
digital
choose.
ticket.
Okay.
And you can give reason why I'm in.
Yeah, I got it. Let me say Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z. Okay. Why?
Gen Z, because you know mentors.
I will not choose Gen Z. I have a Gen Z brother. And he's on my. He's something else.
But your brothers,
Two of my brothers are Gen Z.
they are creative. They are innovative. They think differently completely.
Yeah, for me.
And I think for me, mentoring is also it's two-way.
Okay.
So I have a lot to learn from the Gen Z.
Gs,
So I'd have
okay.
to say
So
Gen
Gen
Z.
Zs,
They
okay.
teach me a lot.
Kent or London? Which do you prefer?
Kent is a beautiful county. However, London has really become my second spiritual home.
Okay.
So London.
I know you studied fashion design and music, of which I was asking you that because the way you are good with music, I was thinking that you went to the School of Performing Arts, of which you told me no. What you studied in school and your talent, what do you prefer? Fashion design or music?
Oh my God. As a practice, like a daily thing to do, music is part of my everyday life.
Okay.
But I love the clothes. This is Hoochie from out of Ghana. You
And
know?
this is
Where Ghana. Yes.
Irabna.
Irabna. There you go.
So if you want this, I mean, you can check Where Ghana up, their website.
WhereGhana.com.
Yeah. You are a good marketer for Where Ghana.
Oh, that's my sister. I have to promote her.
2 million. Living in all your life in the coldest part of UK of £20,000 living in Accra, Ghana, where the sun is blazing hot. As the British people will say, it's baking. I'm yet to know the oven up there.
Yeah, today was baking.
It's baking hot.
Yeah. But you want me to choose between
2 million living all your life in the coldest part of UK or 20,000 living all your life in Accra where the sun is blazing hot?
All your life. It's hard on both sides. Like all your life. But it didn't say I can't go on holiday, right?
Yeah, it did not say. I mean, you can go on holiday.
You can go on holidays.
Look, like there's a
2 million.
money factor.
Yeah, but 2 million is extreme.
It's a stream. And then 20,000. So do you want money or peace?
Oh, this is not good. The thing is, 2 million gets you a lot of access.
Okay.
And
So you can come to Ghana.
I can come to Ghana and have an experience that I would, be out of this world. So I'm going to do the 2 million because there's a lot of things I want to do.
Yeah.
So I can do a lot with that. So I would take the 2 million.
Now you're ditching Ghana.
Look, the thing is, I have a lot of things to do, Fiifi. And you can do a lot with 2 million. And the thing is, if you have 2 million, is it pounds or dollars?
Pounds.
Pounds, £2 million.
Yeah.
You can always make time for Ghana.
Ghanaians, you heard it right. From Kweku's own mouth. Okay, Kweku, I mean, let's zoom back to the interview. I mean, it's a coincidence. You came on the day that I became British.
Yeah. Now Fiifi is British.
Yes, British. After 10 days and I'll be 6 years in London, of which it's been amazing that, I mean, looking at the journey of coming here, we talking, anytime we meet, I mean, this is the first time we are meeting in London. We've met in Ghana a couple of times when I come over. And you also have a channel. What's the name of the channel?
Oh, so we are at Our World.
Our World.
Our
okay.
World, yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, and I love the whole content. I was like, Kweku, you have to have a studio in Ghana.
Amen. I receive it.
So that when I come to Ghana, I'm not going to carry all my equipment. I go like, oh, I do have
You
a
just
friend.
pop down to Awoo, Studio Awoo.
Studio Awoo, which I know. I mean, you're doing a lot of bits of purchasing here and there. And I know that with God's grace, you're going to be big like Studio 88, of which I want you to be big in terms of production aspects of it, of Awoo as well. So looking at your life story, I was like, that is why Kweku is tough. Which year did you go to Ghana?
I first visited Ghana in 2004.
Okay, 2004. So how was your life as a child here in London? Yeah.
So, well, I mean, even the journey to London is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad was a marine engineer.
Okay.
and he came to London.
Okay.
He brought my mum over, and him and my uncle, actually, they were like besties at from Marine School, and before that from home. And so, yeah, so I happened in the UK back in 78. And, you know, my mum was here. She was working for the Nigerian embassy. My dad was on the ships and had his family back in Ghana. So, yeah, so I was born in Liverpool. Some of you Liverpool supporters out there. And it was not easy for my mum the first few months of my life. And by the time I was 11 months old, she had decided that she would like for someone else to, you know, take the challenge and raise me.
Okay.
And so she looked for somebody appropriate in Liverpool who could do that job. And at that time, they were living in these apartments or these flats or rooms in this house, and their landlord was kind of friends with all of them, and she asked him who could raise this child, who could raise my...
How old were you at that time?
Yeah, 11 months.
11 months?
Yeah, 11 months old. And he suggested this woman called Pat. He said, Pat, everyone calls Pat Mum. So he feels like she's the person who she should go and see. And so she and my sister, Sharon, went to see...
As in your Ghanaian sister?
No, my UK sister.
Okay.
Yeah, went to see my mum and to see me. And apparently I was playing with newspaper on the floor. And they just thought I was cute. And my foster mum said, I look like chocolate. So she had to...
You said you look like chocolate.
She said I look like chocolate, like a little baby. And so she had to chew me. And so she would want to... you know, take care of me. But my mum, Ghana, I call her Mum Ghana, mummy, auntie lady.
Mummy Ghana and Mummy UK.
Mummy UK. She was like, oh, she would be going back to Ghana. So after 4 years, she would take me back to Ghana. And then my Mummy UK recounts the story that she was saying that she's a mum. She is not a foster mum. She had given birth to 9 children of her own. And if she was going to take me...
So you were the 10th?
Yeah, yeah, basically. And if she was going to take me, it would be for her life. She would take me as her own. Okay. So she was saying, so you would probably need to get a foster mum if you are going to take someone to take me for 4 years. And then I don't know how long it took my mum to decide, but she decided that that was the best for me. And that lady and her husband would raise me.
Okay. So she was not willing to be a foster mom, but your permanent life parents, of which luckily you settled with Mummy UK. So I know that, I mean, in my 12, from 12 years to 14 years, 15 years, I do have a memory of things that happened. And from your channel, I got to know that you were the only black person in the community till the age of 7. Yeah. And even after the age of 7, there were not a lot. No. It were like spots. Yeah. And how was life like for you as a black person living in a predominantly white neighborhood or city? Yeah,
so my foster parents moved to Kent. Okay. My foster dad was a lorry driver, a long-distance lorry driver, and he had an ulcer, which meant he had to change his job. Driving an articulated lorry with an ulcer is not the best. So they decided to go down to Kent and work on the farms. So they worked on the hop fields. And we lived in a valley. There was only a few houses there. It was owned by the farm, and it was a tied cottage. So people who worked on the farm, some people would get an accommodation. And so once I was old enough, I went to the local primary school, which was, you know, about a mile away. And I remember on the first day of school, this little primary school, I've been back as an adult, and it's really like, it just brings back so many memories. On that first day, I went into the playground, and it seemed like every child in the school ran to touch my hair. And so you can imagine being this small little black child and all these white kids around rushing to touch my hair. It was just crazy, overwhelming. And, you know, in a way scary. Obviously you feel like popular, but then it's like you're the up one out and So yeah, so that's one memory I have from those early days of being a 4-year-old in an environment where people hadn't seen a black child before.
Kweku, from your story, you've had experiences of racism. You said love, great love from your white parents,
And acceptance.
Acceptance. And how has this whole experience shaped your life to be who you are today?
It's hearing you reflect it back, the diversity of experiences that I had as a child. Now I reflect, you know, reflective practice is part of my work, part of who I am. And I've been blessed for the last 20 years to be doing work around myself and my identity, because for me to work and support and coach and train others, I needed to commit to my own development. And so I've spent a lot of time reflecting on these instances that you're describing. And it's amazing to think we embody memory from such a young age. And what I realize is a lot of who I am today is stems from that experience of a child not being with their parents, so therefore there's an abandonment experience. Now it's not the same as saying, oh, my mum abandoned me, but it's the experience of a child who is no longer with the parent. And I realized that the reaction to that as a child, for me, was to create relationships with everybody very fast. And so I became a bit of a shapeshifter. And code switching is a contemporary term that people use.
Were you more of a people pleaser at that time?
Well, yeah, I mean, anything really to create relationship. I really was fearful of the idea of being abandoned again.
Rejected.
Yeah, and so what I would do would be to shape myself in a way that I could get on with the kids that had the most fun in school, so the naughty kids, the neeks and the geeks, as they call them these days. Kids who were just misfits and outcasts were my friends. And I hope some of them are watching now today. But I really got on with everybody, and there was a cost to it, because it's not really feasible to be liked by everybody unless you are changing yourself. So I know that I gave up a lot as a young child, a lot of who I really was in order to be, you know, everybody's friend, as it were. And so I got really more clarity on that as I got older, and really started to edge into a more niche person. And that's when I moved to London.
Create your own niche.
Created my own niche. But as a young child, then this idea of, you know, really just getting on with everybody was
I think it's more of every child. I mean, you try every angle of life, because
there's a strategy. You know, some will, if you look back at your life, I know your strategy. Some people's strategy is to fight everybody. Some people's strategy is to be silent. Some people's strategy is to be a bully. Right? And to, you know, make sure they are never bullied again, because their experience was being bullied. But mine was to create relationship and create friends, which most of people's strategies that are to get the love the child needed that they probably, you know, struggled to get, end up being the superpower, you know, end up being the thing that makes you who you are.
So, I mean, the story of you reconnecting to your roots, reconnecting to mom, Ghana, is also a whole miracle that, I mean, you are not hearing from her for a very long time. So can you share to my audience how you were able to reconnect to Mommy Ghana?
Mommy Ghana, Auntie Lady.
Yeah.
So, oh, goodness me, I'm even feeling emotional. So when my mom, I think my mom, Mommy Ghana, Auntie Lady, she went back to Ghana from the UK in around 83, making me around 5. And then soon after that, the connection was lost. Now, there is a controversy because Mum Ghana will say that Mum Pat was avoiding her, right? And Mum Pat will say, oh, the Mummy Ghana didn't get in touch, right? So there's, you know, both have their own perspective. the bottom line is I didn't have a relationship with my mum for 15 years almost.
Yeah.
So the next thing, I'm living independently in London. I've got my apartment in East London in Hackney, and a letter comes through the door. I open it up, and it is a letter from my mum.
Wow.
But it's from the Salvation Army saying my mum is searching for me, and there's a letter from my mum inside, and then a tiny letter which was from my junior sister, who at that time I think was around 12 years old. And she was calling me big bro in the letter, and I was just like, hey, I got emotional.
I want to take you back a bit. Mommy Pat was giving different story. Mommy UK was giving different story. At that age, you were more of a teenager. At the age 19, which you were a teenager, you know, during our teenagers' time, you were stubborn and other things. Personally, I feel a little bit saddened that my mom had left me for all those years. But I think I would say congratulations to you for also accepting the fact that even though there was different theories going on, you decided to go and see Mami Ghana. And that was a bold decision that you did. How was your journey to Ghana like? You've never been out to Africa. That was your first African country, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So how was the journey? How was the preparation? Were you eager to go and see Mami Ghana, even though I know Mami UK gave you so much love? Yeah.
Yeah. She gave me a few beatings as well. The Irish blood was strong.
Yeah.
I was communicating with Mum. First, it's old school, was letter. My mum and my sister, we would write to each other. And then we used to get on the phone. And then eventually, I think it was Mum who said that her mum, my grandmother, was getting sick in her 80s. And there was some urge for me to meet her. I really wanted to meet my grandmother, and that was what really prompted me to save up, get my ticket, and go to Ghana. And that was 2004. And, you know, I don't know if I really did preparation in the way that, so I watch people prepare. Now I support people who want to come to Ghana and want to find, you know, connection to their ancestry and all those things. But I didn't do that kind of preparation. Although when I landed and I met Mum, it was really powerful. You know, the first hug, I just felt that maternal love and that connection. There was no space for any judgment or any kind of, you did this, you did that. It was very natural.
It was genuine, like, connection.
And
the feeling was so deep that you forgot everything.
Yeah.
Such as life.
Yeah. And, you know, I didn't carry malice or anything, but it was even more intense than I would imagine. So that hug at the airport was really powerful. And then we just got on really well. I mean, me and my mum have our moments. We really have our moments. But ultimately, you know, my mum is boy.
That's our Fanti Mothers.
Right.
Yeah, we are from Elmina.
Right. Yes, Edna.
Edna. You know, so, I mean, Kweku, and you came back to London, of which I know you studied a little bit of fashion.
Yeah, I did London College of Fashion, 95 to 97.
Okay, and what about music and theatre? I mean, I was speaking to you and I got to know that I thought if you had gone to the School of Performing Arts, of which you said, no, you did communication studies, of which I was like, yeah, you're a very good communicator in terms of your coaching, your delivery, your mentoring and other projects that you do back home, back in Ghana and both in London and around the world, because you work globally, of which we're going to talk about it. So, I mean, how was your journey into fashion, into music? How was it like?
The chicken and the egg, which came first? I think the music comes first. I remember my mum and dad playing music out on the fields when they were working in Kent, in the farm, and they would play this old radio, and it would be on Radio 1 most of the time, and they would listen to things like John Peel, and John Peel was famous for his eclectic music taste, and he would listen to everything from traditional African music through to digital German techno, through to soul. So I grew up listening to a very wide variety of music, and without any judgment, and one music to the next, just to feel the energy of that music, and I would love to dance. MTV, 1984, and I don't think we had a TV then, but I think soon after that we got a TV, and I started with Top of the Pops.
Kweku, you reconnected back to Ghana to finally settle in which year?
I connected to resettle in Ghana in 2013, but you asked me about fashion, so I'll just hit that one
okay.
quickly. I mean, the same artists. I loved the fashion, and really aesthetic was massive for me from a young child. Playing with Action Man, playing with dolls, you know, dressing them all up and everything. So I know that was a big passion for me, even from young. But around the sort of around 94, 95, UK was really known for fashion. Vivienne Westwood, Owen Gaster, Hussein Chalayan, Alex McQueen. These people were really leading, and it was a cutting edge coming out of UK. And I really wanted to go to London. I lived in the countryside, so I used to go with my friend Lambert, who's still my bestie, still a good mate, going from Buckinghamshire up on the train to London to buy clothes in Brixton, and really to, you know, explore what London had to offer from the age of about 14.
14?
Yeah, from the age of 15, 16, me and my friends, my older friends would drive down to London. We'd go to clubs, Ministry of Sound, and all of that, really going partying, watching all the sights, everything from, you know, people dressed in the latest fashions, drag queens, every type of look and style was out there. It just blew my mind.
Yeah,
and
it was all
really,
colours.
all colours, all shapes, all sizes, all lifestyles. So London was really where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I applied to London College of Fashion. I got in, and then that 2 years at London College of Fashion was how I see it as a formative years. It was the way I really discovered aspects of myself, made the deepest friends that are still my friends to this day. And I think it just added to the layer of colour that is what Awoo is all about. And we'll get there, I know, but really having the experience of London on a deeper level from the perspective of fashion, culture, music in the mid-90s has a massive influence on me.
Okay, I think 2016 was when you were trying to make real establishment in Ghana, which birds Awoo. Yeah. What is Awoo? Of which I am a member.
Yes, welcome Fiifi, new member. Oh, it took him a time to get his registration together.
Yeah.
So Fiifi, the first 3 years in Ghana, you know, or 2.5 years in Ghana, I call them the hustling years. I worked in wellness because I came there as a transformational practitioner, somebody who works using experiential learning and applied arts to help teach, help organizations, help mediate conflicts, and help communities. And when I got to Ghana, these philosophies or ideas were interesting to people, but they didn't want to pay. Quite frankly, I couldn't get a client base.
Yeah.
But when I noticed how many people were really concerned about their weight, about their blood pressure, about, you know, the size of their stomach, I realized my other passion, wellness, was going to be a real opportunity for me. And I had, you know, already established as a side gig, a network marketing business around wellness. And so when I got to Ghana, that business was what really gave me the foundation to build a really awesome network, a community of leaders, community of executives, and people in corporate who really wanted to transform their lives. And my colleague, Kola, who was formerly a banker and had really almost killed himself through corporate, to be fair, had gone and transformed his life and become a practitioner of wellness and had a center. And I literally camped at his place for 2 years, and we kind of built this brand, which he had already started. We called Life Wellness Center. And, you know, so I would coach his executive leaders around their well-being, help them keep their care plans. He delivered all sorts of things like hydrotherapy and lots of different types of manual therapy and nutrition and vegan lifestyle. And that was the foundation that built my community. And then I had this vision of really reconnecting with the arts that was the passion. So when I left Life Wellness Center, I had this idea of really connecting with the creative community in Ghana. And so my cousin, Irabna, the founder of We're Ghana, connected me with Chief Moomin, who is one of our leading playwrights out on the continent. And he connected me to University of Ghana, the Performing Arts Department. And that was really the beginning of Awoo. Then it was Awotri movement.
Yeah, okay.
We realized it was a culture, it's more than performance. We would eat together, our nutrition, we would train together, fitness and well-being. We would also go work on our personal development and do exchanges, cultural exchanges. We got gigs like from, KFC and others who wanted people to come and do traditional dance at their launches. We did gigs at pubs and bars and events and venues. And that just was the foundation of Awoo. Fast forward to COVID times, 2020, I did a birthday meetup on Zoom. A lot of great people, my mates and colleagues came on that Zoom from around the world. My big collaborator, Olubode, was like, wow, these people, they all want to meet again. I think you should share the goals and the ideas that you have with this group of people. So I did. I had another call. I shared my big, as Olu calls it, my big impossible goal, which was all about enabling the experience of home. Everybody on the planet should have an experience of home. And I had this vision of reaching 1 million people with that philosophy. And I shared it with that group. They didn't get it first off. I had another meeting and then they got it. And we set up on WhatsApp. And 40 people joined initially, Awoo. And we've carried on growing from there. We're over 120 now.
Wow, that's great.
Collective of change makers from around the world who really care about well-being, believe in the power of creative arts, and are committed to lifelong learning and transformation. And then we collaborate together to deliver services. And this year, in April, we registered as both a limited company and an NGO in Ghana. And as I sit at Studio 88 Live, we're in the process of registering also in the UK as well. So global. Always global.
Yeah. I mean, being in Ghana and working globally can be challenging in terms of infrastructure. How are you able to achieve all these things? I mean, with the limited infrastructure that we have back in home in Africa, and as compared to the infrastructure that is vast and, I mean, is readily available to us here. How are you able to maneuver all these challenges?
It hasn't been easy. There have been points when the contracts from here have even been at jeopardy because of things like connectivity or, the drama of getting across Accra and the roads, and sometimes, when it rains and, over here, the idea of using rain as an excuse doesn't make sense. But in Ghana, sometimes the rain, people lose their life. So, it has been challenging to adjust to that. At the same time, it really comes down to relationships. Some of the people I work for and work with now as a contractor, as a freelancer, I've been working with since, the early 2000s. And those relationships were built way back then. And so, there have been shaky moments. Even contractors have said to me, we cannot have this, level of inconsistency and things like that. So it's really been close to the edge at points. But relationship that's dug deep and built over time will withstand those things. And of course, eventually, those relationships is what really holds things together. So I would say really, the idea of being your word is one of the core philosophies in transformation. And I'm far from saying I've done that perfectly, but holding it as a philosophy and really living by that, whether I fall off it or come back on it, I think has been one of the things that has really helped me build a really strong and diverse community. The other thing is resilience. I learned that from my Irish mum, Pat, and just this thing about getting up, no matter what the weather is, and getting out there and doing what you have to do. And discomfort is part of change, so being able to be resilient and coming across, overcoming, those points in time when you're experiencing discomfort, you're wondering whether you're going to break through, and you just keep going through, you push through that next day with the support of those you love and care for. I think those are some of the key things that have helped me really get through when it's gotten tough. Yeah.
I know you are heavy on wellness. How does one find wellness and balance?
That's a full-scale consultancy right here.
Yeah.
Fiifi, I'll bill you later.
Okay.
How does one find wellness and balance? Well, this one we could use. I mean, when you came over to Ghana, we looked at the philosophy of blooming, which was coined by my good friend Olubode Sean Brown, and I think it's a good way of looking at wellness, because he looks at life through the eyes of the Dagara people and the Dagati people of northern Ghana and Burkina Faso, and they had this philosophy that used the elements of life, or the elements, to be able to look at us as a whole holistically. And so we look at the idea that mineral is the idea of our story, and it is the passageway to our purpose. So if we have purpose, it helps to guide us, and it helps for us to get up in the morning when we really don't feel like it. When it's London and it's freezing cold, we still have to get up because we know we're going somewhere. Then we look at nature, or air, which is all about change and transformation. Something that stretches us and helps us to change and helps to guide us, and helps us to continue to grow, is in line with your experience of something new happening in every day, which is another element of your wellness. Fire, the idea of being seen, the idea of visibility, of being valued, and the idea of having value exchange. So that's where our money also comes into it. You know, when we're doing business with each other, when we are affirming each other, when we're seen as valuable, that's a huge part of well-being. If we don't get valued, you notice the sickness that comes along with that. And you find that at work, you can find that in your marriage, you can find that in relationships. The idea of not being valued is a huge cause for unwellness. Then water, that's connection, right? Just being with people, being in relationship with others. And the truth is, we're connected to all life. And so when we have that experience, that can help us experience wellness. And the last one is the foundation, which we call home. That's all the foundation level. Financial wellness is part of it. So we know that, Fiifi, you like your garments and, and all this kind of thing. It's part of well-being, and in that is our physical well-being as well. Movement, being able to take care of our bodies, being able to experience the good things in life, good food that has you fully nourished, getting the balance. We've been talking about that in the house. Are you getting, your balance of complex carbohydrates, proteins? Are you getting really good, healthy fats? And are you really balancing your nutrition as a whole? And hydrating, right? All these good things. You put all those things together and you're going to be on the right track to finding balance.
Okay. One of your credentials on your CV is helping a lot of people reconnect back home. How has this journey of reconnecting people back home in Africa impacted your life as an individual?
A beautiful question.
Yeah.
Yes, go Fiifi. It's powerful. I mean, I was in New York last week. Yeah, I've come to you from New York, and we were doing Bloomfest. And Bloomfest was a different type of homecoming. I landed in Harlem, New York, and was received by a group of people that, until that point, many of them I only knew on Zoom. That people have been collaborating with for years, since COVID. And that experience of connection and love was really an outpouring I didn't expect. And it's that on reverse that really, I think, creates the experience for people when they come to Ghana, is when they land in Ghana, they land into a family, and they landed with the experience of home. And I've had the experience from many diasporans that they've come to Ghana with the expectation or hope of being accepted, and they've met with expectations other than the ones they hoped for. They hope to be seen as a brother and a sister. They hope to have guidance, support, and also be respected and loved for who they are. And sometimes our people do not understand, and so it can be tough. So Awoo is there for people to come to Ghana and have the experience of home. I've been there 10 years now. I've, what do they say, kissed a lot of frogs. So our community is well tried and tested, you know, from the young people that will support us, you know, in going out and getting things in, doing rounds, to our high-level consultants that help with people who want to plan building or want to do business or want legal support. You know, the whole community that Awoo has really been gathered and grown over the 10 years I've been in Ghana, and are ready to support our brothers and sisters who are coming down. Having people come and stay with us physically in the home as well has been incredible. You know, we now have a 10-month-old in the house. And
little Nana.
little Nana. And he's just meeting the most incredible people, and he's already getting this kind of, I think, exposure to the ideal that the world is for all of us, you know, and we're all connected.
You talk about Nana. How's being a father changed your life as a person now, as Kweku?
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm a late bloomer. And I think coming at parenthood as an older adult, I'm just really enjoying the experience. You know, yeah, because he's my teacher. Yeah, he is my best lecturer. You know, every day he's got a lesson for me, and he teaches me about myself in his pursuit for learning and knowledge and his boldness. I learn so much about who I am. And I think it's also watching his mom, Jane, you know, in her motherhood mode, has been really touching as well.
You had a call with them, which was really cute. I mean, saying good night to Jane and Nana.
Halfway through the set, right? So it's a real pleasure. It's hard leaving them. You know, I can't wait for the time when, you know, he's big enough so he can come along. Because I just can imagine him, you know, helping our director with the cables and all that kind of stuff. I just look forward to that. But yeah, it's been a lesson. It's been a learning journey for me. And having grandma and granddad around, Jane's parents are around. And when he goes to see Mum, Auntie Lady, it's really special, you know.
Special bond, like a big family.
And that's one thing that Ghana, I think,
the extended family is much more of a component, because personally, I had my mom around, but I had good uncles and aunties that really helped me shape who I am today. And I can go like, look, the extended family really played an important role in my life as an individual. Kweku, in terms of helping people reconnect back home, is prejudice still a thing that people are still facing in their daily life?
I think with Holding Collective, it's a great opportunity to look at all different challenges that the human condition brings up, you know, and whether it's race, identity, any sexual identity, whether it's about gender, whether it's about age, you know, any of the isms and schisms will emerge when it's about bringing together large groups of people. And I've always been a space that is rooted in African philosophy. So sometimes people assume that that means that it's only for black people. And that is not the case. It's really for anybody who can see the power of Africa as a route to making a difference in the world, to creating change. And some of those people just happen to be white, right? And also some of my white colleagues and friends have had such an extraordinary impact on my journey, including my white mum, that, you know,
Mummy
it makes
UK.
Mummy UK, Mum Pat, it makes for me, it's important that those identities are also reflected. Single identity spaces, I believe in them. They're very important. At the same time, you know, I think it's really important to reflect the diversity on the planet. I mean, Awoo is home, the whole philosophy of everybody experiencing home, it means everybody. Even though the philosophy being rooted in Ghana or rooted in Africa means that many of the people who identify with it are black or are from the diaspora or are from the continent. So, but I think ultimately it's about anybody who can see the possibility in the philosophy can be part of Awoo. And it really takes for everybody to make space to understand. You know, we say in the Bloom philosophy we're connected to all life, which I think for some people is difficult because it means we're connected to the everything, good, bad, or indifferent. And so I think when I look at life like that, it removes or reduces the level of judgment that I carry.
More of a philosophical mindset rather than color or race, rather than you are based on philosophy of someone trying to make an impact in Africa.
Yeah, and also just that we are connected to all life. You know, so whether or not, I mean, those people, I mean, was it Jung who said that, you know, we're often challenged by the things that we're most challenged in ourselves. You know, it's things in other people that we see that we feel peed off about are the things that we hate most about ourselves. And that, I think, is always coming up for me in real life. So the moment we start to reflect and go, okay, the thing that's annoying me about them, let me turn the camera back on myself. You know, it starts to help us to really connect. Yeah. But,
okay. Now I'm taking you back to Awoo. I want you to throw more light on Awoo. I know you making a lot of extensive development for Awoo in the coming future. I can see Awoo going interplanet.
Interplanetary Awoo. I love that. Thank you, Fiifi. Amen. We receive it. Yeah, the three pillars offer us a lot of range. You know, so if I run through the three pillars now as it is now. So when we look at leadership and learning, we are really interested in this idea called the source, which covers the ideas that we've discussed already, but it's the idea that executives, mainly black executives, in fact, this one is aimed at black executives in the diaspora who have who have journeyed to the top of their field and then find themselves in very white spaces or find themselves not represented in their spaces. And that means that they end up losing connection and the opportunity to really exist from their superpower, from who they really are. So those people end up using a lot of energy and actually end up becoming burnt out. And it's been something that's been spoken in our community. And I was like, I want to respond to that because I believe our work can support people. And we have a program where you can actually begin on a remote level on Zoom with a group of people, looking at identity, looking at the philosophy of blooming, rediscovering the roots of your creativity, and then ultimately having the chance to come to Ghana and be able to go through a journey. Some of the people who I've had these conversations with in the diaspora have actually gone away and done their DNA testing and discovered that they actually have ancestral connections to Ghana, to the Akans, even to our tribe, right? In Elmina, you know, and there's somebody in Guyana, or there's somebody in the States, or there's somebody in Jamaica who has this lineage and wants to come to Ghana and connect. But those in the leadership spaces that feel that disconnection can do the source as a program and then come to Ghana and have that experience on the ground with the support of our community. So that's really exciting. We have the residencies, which is where people can come to Ghana and create something. You can come, and we've had Awoo creating Bloomfest, our festival, book launches, education events, people doing women's leadership programs and things like that. You can come to Ghana with a plan and we'll help you execute that. Fiifi will help you put on an event, you know, so this kind of thing. And then we are looking at Democreatives. That's our collaboration with Ghana Center for Democratic Development, Africtivists, Yaga, organizations, CSOs across West Africa who really want to explore the power of the arts to influence democracy. And we have so much to do in the West African subcontinent. You know, so many of our states, the leaders don't stick to 2 terms. They go on 3, 4, 5 terms, and then the situations in the country become volatile and very difficult. And we believe that a lot of that comes down to people being disconnected from their power to speak. And we want to explore what role do the arts have to play in that? We launched in Lagos a few weeks ago, which was really powerful. The Democratives, we had MI, we had Sister LB from Senegal, we had Killer Ace from Gambia, then we had our artist, Nella L, we had JC, you know, our B-boy from Nigeria. all collaborating and really having this conversation. We had DJ Switch,
Wow.
and then
The young girl DJ,
the senior
the
DJ
senior
Switch,
Switch from
from Nigeria,
The lady.
who she just represented. She did our keynote speech, and then Rocky Dawuni, the great legend Rocky Dawuni, also telling us really what he thinks about the possibilities of our art forms in making a change to the democratic situation in West Africa.
Wow.
So it was powerful to have Awoo on the stage with all these greats, and for us to be able to offer what we do, which is to hold space for community, for collective, to make a difference.
Kweku, thank you very much. I mean, you've really made a real impact within the 6 years of establishment of Awoo in Ghana and working globally as well, which is very, very inspiring to a lot of young entrepreneurs like me. Yeah. And your last words for our viewers before we go?
Well, the official age of Awoo is going to be 4.
4!
Yeah, 4. As a collective, we will be 4 on the 8th of the 8th. So we're gearing up for that. And all I would say is really, we have a program called Activate, and it challenges all of us to really step into our power and to look at the world. You know, there's plenty going on that I think people can see that they probably would want to make a difference to. That you can step into your power, look at really what you think you are supposed to do on this planet and do your part. You know, do your part. Do it from a place of love, do it from a place of compassion, but do it. You know, express yourself, really find ways to bring the best of yourself out there so that when you go to sleep at night, you know that no matter how big or small, you're on the path to making that difference you're supposed to make on this planet.
Yeah. It was nice to have you in our space. The space is for both me and my viewers.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space.
It's a beautiful
You
space.
viewers, you are lucky. Oh, I honestly, he said that Awoo can create something like this. I receive it.
Amen. Amen. It was nice to meet you here in London, and thank you for accompanying me to my British citizenship ceremony.
Pleasure. I was even getting emotional.
Yeah. It was like the weekday, and at 12 o'clock, I did not know who I was going with because everybody was working. I was like, "Kweku, can you?" And you, I mean, at that moment, you had certain things to do, but you put it on hold to go with me. I really appreciate that, and thank you very much for, I mean, all the advice. And we're Ghana, Irabna. Thank you very much for this outfit. I really appreciate it. So guys, you can also log on to We're Ghana,
www.wereghana.com.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can check out Hoochie as well. My boy Hoochie is also coming up. Fashion in Ghana is really moving. So
there are 2 fashion brands today. It's nice to be important, but very, very important to be nice, guys. Leave your comments in the comment section and like, subscribe, and hit on the notification button so that you get notified of all the lifestyle content that we do have for you. My name is Fiifi, and he's
Kweku Aact.
okay. Bye.
Bye.